Now I'm going to introduce you our episode 45 from the STEM Girls Virtual Space Talkshow. We're very happy and glad to have you here. And now, to start formally, please, I will ask you to mute your microphone during the show, please. We will record the show and upload it later to the H Network YouTube channel. Please use the chat to type your answer to your question, sorry. And if you experience connection problems, enable low bandwidth mode and reduce video quality. Thank you so much, everyone, for waiting. I will read the introduction. That is, women, as we know, are no less than any men in any field. Over time, we have seen several examples of women excelling in various STEM fields and serving the society for the larger cause. We at the STEM Girls Initiative aims to equip girls with the same kind of inspiration and see that hard to excel in STEM fields and do their best. This talk show is a platform for the women in STEM to talk to the girls aspiring to excel in it. We are sure that after hearing from our guests, all the audience will be inspired to reach the stars. During this talk show, we will be conversing with a woman in the field of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. A woman who has made her mark and now graciously taking the time to tell us about her journey and share with us her wisdom. So, now let me introduce you our guest today. Thank you so much, Professor Rebecca Wusa Andana. Hope I am saying right your name. Perfect. Thank you, madam. Professor Rebecca Ndana is with the Department of Biological Sciences, University of Abuja, where she has been in the Senate since 2005, having joined the university in 1997. A native of Capada Taco, the home of talents, Professor Ndana has held several appointments, including coordinator CWES and Sandwich, Program Biology, Head of Department, Director, School of Remedial Studies, and Dean Faculty of Science. During her tenure as Dean, she was recognized as one of the best performing deans in North Central Nigeria. She has also served on and chaired several committees in the university. Professor Rebecca Ndana is a member of the Interministerial Committee of Chemical and Biological Weapons, member United Nations Committee on Drugs and Crime specific to preventing wildlife and forest products crime. She was also member of the White Paper Committee of the Kiwara State College of Aviation. Professor Ndana has mentored students at all levels of tertiary education, the undergraduate and postgraduate. She is a member of many scientific organizations. She is currently the president of University of Abuja Women Association. Her hobbies include dancing, singing, and gardening. Professor Rebecca Wusandana is married to Dr. Bar Jonathan Hija Ndana, and they are blessed with children. So, we are very happy, madam, to have you here. It's a pleasure to meet you and to know about your experience as a STEM woman. And yes, Tina, we are recording the talk show. I don't know, Professor, if you would want to introduce yourself, say hi, or something before we start. You are mute, madam. You can turn on your microphone. Oh, sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Well, you have already introduced me. You have read my profile. And as you have said, my name is Professor Rebecca Usandana. I am an alumni of the Universities of Ilorin and Abuja. And currently in the Department of Biological Sciences of the University of Abuja. I was promoted to the rank of a professor in the year 2012. This year is 2022. That means I'm clocking my 10th year as a professor. And my time in the university has been very exciting. Actually, that's where I have done almost all my work, and having to relate with students, both at the undergraduate and the postgraduate levels. Fortunately, today, early in the day, was our convocation ceremonies have been going on, and today was for our postgraduate students. And today, 4 of my PhD students graduated. I was there with them to celebrate with them. So I've also served on several committees in the university. By the grace of God, I've also headed so many units in the university. So, and here we are today. I've served 2 times as the Dean of the Faculty of Science. I have served as the head of department, Biological Sciences. I have served as the Director, School of Remedial Studies. I have served as examinations officer. I have served on admissions committees. I have served on staff and students disciplinary committees. The list is so long, just to mention but a few. I've also been involved with external examination in some universities in Nigeria. I've been external examiner to University of Benin. Uh, I've been to uh, Kogi State University. I've been to Bingham University, to mention a few. I've also had the opportunity to carry out professorial assessments for candidates to the rank of professor and associate professorships. So it's been an exciting work. And I've also been privileged to work with women. Currently, I'm the president of the Women Association in my university. I've also had the opportunity to work with women even at the level of the church, where I have been the Women Fellowship leader for almost 8 years before handing over. So it has been a whole lot of experience. I think that's who I am, humbly. Thank you, Gabriel.
Thank you so much, Madam, for that introduction and to share with us your experience and all the things you have done until today. If you are ready, we can start with the questions.
Yes, you can.
Perfect. Thank you so much. The first question is a little bit general. Maybe we have speak a little bit about what you study, what you have done, but in your own words, what is your field of study and what got you interested in it?
Okay. I I went to the University of Ilorin, where I had a first degree in botany, which is the study of plants, botany. And then from there, I went back immediately in my country, Nigeria. We have what is called a National Youth Service Scheme, which is compulsory for everybody. So after that, I went back to the University of Ilorin to do a master's degree in crop production specific to plant pathology, which is the study of plant diseases. And I chose the area nematology for my research, plant nematology. That is the nematode diseases of plants. And then for my for my doctoral degree, I now did at the University of Abuja. So I have been studying plants. I have been studying plant diseases. I have been studying how to control or reduce the problem of the plant diseases. Another area of interest has been the area of the use of plants, investigating plants common to Nigeria for the control of some diseases of man is ongoing, especially diabetes. the use of plants in the control of certain diseases, alternative medicine, that is what we call that, like plant diseases like diabetes, like hypertension. We're also trying to investigate plant diseases that are involved in other kinds of conditions like reproductive health issues and child sicknesses. That is also an area that I am currently involved in. So that is what I do, but I teach students at the undergraduate level and at the postgraduate level. I've also had the opportunity to also teach and mentor students in various diploma courses in the university. So that is what I currently do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam. Another question, a little bit related, is who has inspired you to become who you are today?
What?
Who has inspired you to become who you are today?
Okay, thank you very much. I think my greatest inspiration first is God, then my father who is late now, played a very strong role in my life. His name was Elder Isaac Alasan of blessed memory. He kept urging me on, pushing me on to become the best that I could ever be. And then I had a principal, Mrs. Margaret Audu. She's also late now. When I was in the secondary school, she was a great force and an influence in my life. My principal of the secondary school I attended, the name of my secondary school was Queen Elizabeth School in Ilorin, Kwara State, my state of origin. So it was very, she had a great influence on my life. And then my my supervisor, my lecturer and supervisor at the MSc and PhD levels, unfortunately, she too is no more alive. She was a woman, Professor EEA Oyedumade, and the late Professor HS Idris. They are both late now. In fact, at my PhD, my two supervisors were women and they were goal getters and they spurred me on. So these two, this category of people really gave me the push. I remember during my MSc, I was the only female in the class. All the others were boys. And the research area I chose, my 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 supervisor, who was male, said, no, I don't want to supervise a girl. Girls will cry any small thing, and it will involve field work. And he told my other classmates, who were all boys at the master's degree, that they should talk to me to change my research focus. And I refused, but I had the backing of my classmates. I had the backing of my lecturers, like this Professor Dumade, who is now late, she's no more alive. And by the grace of God, here we are today. And if I had any challenge or any problem, all I had to do was to give her a call. How do I do this? How do I go about this? And she was always there guiding me and putting me through. Unfortunately, she died a few years ago. My father too is late now. But God is there. Thank you, Gabby.
Thank you so much, Madam. Another question very important now that we are talking about a little bit about your challenges is which social problem do you think is the most urgent to be solved when we are talking about girls in STEM?
All right. Let me give you practical life scenarios. In my university, the University of Abuja, I have girls from a certain part of the country who come in at the 100 level, performing very brilliantly. But by the time they are in the 200 level, 300 level, their performances drop. And what makes their performances to drop is that you discover as they enter the university, by the end of 100, their first year, they are being married off. And the moment they are married off, they get pregnant. Because of course, it is expected that a married woman should have children. And so before you know what is happening, a girl who is hitting a first class or a second class upper, the performances drop. And I've had to talk to some of them. So this marrying off of girls when they are in school is a major problem that is affecting girls in science and technology and engineering. It is a problem, but it is also multidimensional because it is linked to our religious and cultural values in Nigeria. I also had I had a girl some years ago who was in another university reading medicine to become a medical doctor. But the issue of marriage came and she had to get married and the husband was in Abuja. So she had to move to Abuja to stay with the husband because it was not ideal for them to stay apart. And in moving to Abuja, as at that time, there was no medicine in my university. So she had to do a change of course to biology, which was available at that time. Now you can imagine a lady who is built to be a medical doctor now coming to read, a single honors degree. Not because she's not intelligent, not because she cannot make it, but because of the demands of our culture and the pressures of society. So this has placed a limiting factor on a lot of girls. So we have issues, early marriage, marriage while in school, and then it now becomes very difficult to combine the two, the studies and the marriage. Because you cannot tell a man that because you are a student, you cannot cook for him, you cannot wash his clothes, you cannot bear children. So this is a very serious challenge for girls in my part of the world. It is a problem. Apart from the problem of feeling that some courses are not just for women, the stereotyping, and feeling that, you are a girl. I remember, and this view is held by so many people. I remember one time somebody told a girl that, you are a girl, why don't you just go and read a 4-year course and finish and get married? So the culture, the society, to a large extent, is still not yet accepting that, okay, she can go for a 6-year course, she can go for a 7-year course, and stay long. All it is looking at is, okay, why don't you just do something, just get any degree, because you need a degree, just get any degree, you are a woman, and finish and go and get married and then raise children. I remember I faced that challenge when I finished my first degree and I applied for my master's, wrote the qualifying exams, and was given admission. And some of my relatives said, why don't you just go and work? Why don't you just go and work? you are a girl, settle down. But then I was more radical than I am now. So if I get married to any man now, the man will go mad because my mind is not in marriage. My mind is in my career. My mind is in my studies. So these are some of the major challenges for girls, mainly from the cultural backgrounds, from the religious backgrounds, from the societal views of what a girl is actually supposed to be. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam, for that perspective. It is very important to talk about these type of things because it is a problem that we have in our culture, as you say. As you said, sorry. Now we will be talking a little bit more about peer pressure. The next question is, when you were a student, did you feel any peer pressure, especially because you're a woman? And what advice would you give to young girls to overcome this obstacle and standing barriers?
Okay. Well, I was very fortunate. I was very fortunate because I come from a family where everybody was going to school. My father was educated, my mother was a teacher. So I retired as a teacher. My father was involved with higher education. So from my family, I didn't face those stereotypes or those challenges. Rather, I was encouraged, to be the best that I could be. Whatever I needed was given to me by my family. My father made sure that I was well provided for since he was also in the education system. And another advantage for me was that I was also an only girl with 5 brothers. So a life with boys was not a challenge to me. Like I told you earlier on, when I went for my MSc, I was the only female with 8 boys as classmates. Yes, no, 7 boys. We were 8 in the class. I was the only female. And I know one day, one of us had a car. So when we finish our lectures and we are going back home, we will all hike a lift in that car to town. And one day, one of them said that in Africa or in his place, women sit at the back of vehicles, not in front, where there are men. And so I cannot sit in front with our classmate who was driving because I was female. And I told him that if in the next test we write, if I scored higher than him, he was no more a male but a female. He thought I was joking. And lo and behold, the next test script that will be shared to us, I scored the highest in the whole class. And I went back to him. I said, you remember? He said, I cannot sit in front of the car of our classmates because I am female and women sit at the back. I said, so now that I scored highest in the test in the class, I am now a man. I am now a boy too. So the issue of who sits where in the class, in the vehicle, no longer arises. So handling issues of peer pressures were not that difficult. Where I faced the major challenge because of my sex was when I was now doing my PhD. Because by that time I was married. And the challenges of childbirth, taking care of the home, taking care of the children, taking care of the husband, combining it with a career, that was when I really felt the pressures. But from my first degree to my master's, it was really jolly go merry. But after I got married and it was after that I registered for my PhD, I began to feel, the pressures of being female because I now had to combine various aspects of my life. I remember when I registered for my PhD, I did the registration with a pregnancy. I was heavily pregnant and I was registering for a PhD. But of course, that was the time to start. So that was when I began to really have challenges because of who I am, because of being the female gender. And that was because I had to combine many things. Another challenge that I faced, which by the grace of God was quickly handled. I remember when I was pregnant, I had schedule of courses to teach, and it was not yet time for my maternity leave, and the semester had started. And the colleague, we were going to share the course with another colleague. And he came to me and said, Ndana, start teaching, because when you deliver, I will not be able to teach your part. And I rose up. I said, no, I will only teach what I can teach, because I have the right to get pregnant and to give birth. So I will do as much as I can before my maternity leave. Where I stop is where I stop, but I will do my best. He took it, he thought it was light. He went and reported me to the then head of department. God bless his soul, he's late now. That he said I should start teaching everything so that when I give back. And the head of department told him, said, look, leave her. She's pregnant. Wherever she stops and she puts to bed, we will continue. But God helped me. I finished my lectures before, I was able to finish my lectures with my students before I even actually I gave birth. Because what I normally say is, it's not about the sex, it's about what is in the brain. What do you have up there as a girl? Once you have something in your brain, even the men will have to respect you. And so as much as possible, for me, I don't push the female angle forward. I push the angle of what I am capable of doing forward. I don't give excuses just for the sake of excuses. And that way I am giving my space, because when they know that you respect yourself and you know what you're doing, you are giving your space. The only time men don't really want to give you space is when it comes to administrative positions, because they feel they are the men, they should be the leaders. But even that, I have won elections in my university, defeating men, because don't just be a woman for being a woman's sake. Be a woman who knows what she's doing. Be a woman who has integrity. Be a woman who is trustworthy. Be a woman who is focused. Be a woman of honor, and the spaces will open. Even the men will begin to look for you to come and do certain things and to begin to occupy certain positions. So I most of the time do not dwell on the challenges. What I do is, what is the challenge and what does the challenge require? Does it require I do not sleep? Then I will not sleep. I will sit up from midnight to morning to write my papers. Does it require I do not eat? Then I will not eat. Does it require that I make special arrangements for my family so that they do not lack? I make the arrangements. I spend my money to make sure that my family is okay. And then I can go on with my work, with my career. So I always want to recognize what is the challenge and does it have to do with me? If it has to do with me, then I overcome the hurdle with whatever it takes. And most of the time, what it takes is hard work, focus, commitment, and dedication. And by the grace of God, you overcome. Thank you, Gabby.
Thank you so much, Madam, for that. We really appreciate that you are sharing us your wisdom and experience, and I hope that this information and advice would help a lot of girls who are going to watch this video at our YouTube channel.
By the grace of God.
Now, another very important question, a little bit related about what we are talking about, is how can we increase girls or young women participation in STEM? And are there any scholarships or opportunities for girls or women who are pursuing a career in STEM?
Okay, you know, the the one of the edu, education is a right to every child, whether male or female, and it is one of the sustainable development goals, SDGs, of the United Nations, right to education. And one of the ways to improve the participation of girls to get education and to be involved in STEM is to ensure, first of all, that they have the access to education. Because it is when they have that access that they can choose their career line. You know, when their potentials are developed, then they can decide, okay, I want to be in the sciences, I want to be in the arts, I want to be in the social sciences. So that's right. And then I also want to propose that families that refuse to send their female children to school, the law should come on them. That is, they should be made to face the law. We don't just talk about it, say, take your child to school, and then somebody refuses to take his child to school, and nothing is done about it. No, government has to be bold to do something about it. And that would involve the use of our local authorities, like our traditional rulers. And in Nigeria, each traditional ruler also has a woman that is heading the women, and most of them have youth associations. So they get to know, they are closer to the people, so that any family who is not allowing their female children to go to school should be made to face the wrath of the law. And it should really be punitive, because it is the right. If children cannot get to school, whether male or female, then of course we're not going to have them in science, technology, engineering, and then mathematics. And basically, education at the basic level in my country, in public schools, is free. They don't pay tuition. It's actually free. So families, especially the families who themselves are not educated, most of the time they are the ones that are the problems, families in the rural areas. So there is a need for awareness, there is a need for public enlightenment, there is a need for mobilization, massive mobilization on the essence of girl children, going to school. And then programs like this, by STEM Girls Network, is also vital. And then for those who have, been educated and have seen the benefits, it's also essential that whenever they are in their communities, they are engaged in encouraging girls either going to schools, like that. And then motivations. There are so many things you could do to motivate the girl child to go to school. You could offer scholarships. You could, you could offer other incentives like textbooks, like laptops and things like that. Like in the Women Association in my university, what we have done is, once we see a girl that is indigent, like last year also, we had to pay the school fees of a girl reading mathematics and who was hitting first class but could not pay school fees. So we have to pay the school fees for the session. That is a kind of scholarship. When you identify those kind of people, you offer scholarships. And in some places, I know some NGOs, some local governments, some state governments, they offer some form of scholarship. Some register them for their final exams, like the ordinary level exams, either the WAEC, the GCE, like that. And then some help them to do their JAM registration. So, and then we would also need the participation of the religious body, because in my country, a lot of respect is given to the religious leaders, either from the church or from the mosque. What they say is almost like law to help encourage, and to sensitize and mobilize the people on the essence of girl child, education, and also to emphasize that there should really be no barrier and there should be no limits on 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 areas or courses that the girl child should actually be involved in. But I think that the first step is the insistence that education is a right, and the girl child should assess that right, because that is where the potentials come from. And then the girl will know, okay, this is the area I want to go into, and then she can be, she can be encouraged and pushed. And we have a lot of women organizations in my country, Nigeria, that is actually routing for the female children and to encourage them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam. Now we are going to talk a little bit more about your career. And the next question is, what job or career opportunities are there for girls who are aspiring or want to study something related to your field?
I want to say that now there is no limit. Where the world is going now, it depends, one, on your potentials. It depends on what you want to be. So the opportunities available are as many as the sands on the sea, if you can count them, depending on your area of interest. Before, people used to think, okay, you are going to be a teacher, or you are going to be a nurse. No. Now, one of my students who graduated in the last year, who made a first class in biology, we've been communicating. And where she is now, she says she's in the faculty of law in a university. And I said, what are you doing in the faculty of law? And she's doing very well there. So right now, the way the world is going, there are no stereotypes, there are no limitations, depending on your interests, depending on what you want to do, and depending on how much you equip and keep updating yourself. That is how the fields open up. So there is no limit. And you could just go and Google careers in STEM for careers in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. You will discover that the field is endless, and you have a lot of new things emerging and coming up. And so the young person has a space that is as wide as the skies as far as careers are concerned. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam. Now, the last question is, Nigeria is currently facing insecurity globally. What is your contribution to solving this problem with your field, or what do you think is the possible solution?
Thank you very much. I think one of the solutions is education. Education. People have to have the right mindset, understand issues, be able to interpret issues, be able to conceptualize issues so that it is not just easy for somebody to come up one day and brainwash somebody. But that cannot happen if there is no education. Evidence has shown that most of the people involved in the banditry, the attacks, are poorly educated people or people who are not even educated at all. So education is one of the solutions. Another solution is, which I see, is back to the family system, whereby children are properly brought up morally. Children are brought up to fear God. Children are brought up to know God. Children come up with values of integrity, values of honesty, values of valuing life. You know, children are properly brought up, and so families should remain as families a place where children are properly molded. And then the society should free itself from this unitary concept. Me, myself, and my husband and my children. No. If we go back to a system whereby every child belongs to the society, whereby if a neighbor sees a child going wrong, the neighbor can correct the child, even beat the child. Because the Bible, I'm a Christian, the Bible says that when you keep the rod, you spoil the child. In the Bible, there's a place for beating. That you beat a child, says the rod, beating, flogging will drive foolishness from the heart of the child. So when we go back to our religious values and bring up our children properly, and the child now belongs to the whole society, so that even the child is afraid to do anything bad, because he knows that even if my parents are not there, the neighbor who is there can correct me, and the neighbor can report me to my parents. And my parents will not take offense. My parents will thank the neighbor for correcting me. I think we would have less of these issues. Another solution is, for a long time, employment opportunities have not been there for a lot of our young people. And so it's easy for them to be enticed by just, a little token, just so that they can solve their daily needs. So I look at a situation whereby our government should really have social policies. Like if you have finished school and you are not employed, what does the government have for you? In countries like Britain, USA, United States of America, they say if you are 18, there are some allowances you are entitled to. There is what you call unemployment benefits. In my country, there is nothing like that. So the social welfare system of my country is not really the one, it's not really such as caters for these teeny youths. And so once somebody comes with a carrot on a stick, they easily go for it and begin to do different kinds of things that are not good. And so that is increasing the tide of insecurity. So I believe that if these approaches are considered and put to use by my country, education, back to the family, moral, right upbringing of children, go back to our God-given values of discipline for the children, and improvement in our social welfare system. Let the government have programs for the youths that meet their needs and their yearnings and their aspirations. I believe that we will have less of the challenges of insecurity. in my country. Thank you, Gabby.
Thank you so much, madam. Now, it is the end of the talk show. I don't know if there is any question from the audience. If anyone has any question, you can raise your hand here at Zoom, or you can type your questions on the chat box. Is there any question or comment? While we wait, I don't know if you will want to say a conclusion, a last advice, Professor,
You want me
to maybe make a last advice or a conclusion.
okay. What I would advise girls is know what you want, do everything that is morally right to get it. No shortcuts, no cutting corners. Because if you want success that will last, it has to be success that is based on hard work, commitment, dedication, and focus. For me, the moment you say, Rebecca, you can't do this, all you have told me is, Rebecca, go and bring the results. If you put a bar in my front and say, Rebecca, you must not cross this bar, this is your limit, you have just given me the energy. That word, that word impossible does not exist in my diary when there's something to achieve. Instead, what I look at is, what does it take? What will it take for me to achieve this? And then I give it what it takes. That's why I said when it requires that I don't sleep, I don't sleep. When it requires that I have to read to update my knowledge, I go and read. I go and do research. When it requires that I have to go out and ask questions, I go out and ask questions. When it requires that I need to go and seek other help, go for mentorship, nothing should be a barrier. Know what you want, do all that is morally right, all that is within your abilities, your potentials to get it. And sometimes you have to push yourself to beyond your potentials. You have to read more, you have to acquire more skills. If the skill you have now is not enough, take for example now, you are a student, you are not computer literate, and you know that almost get more skills, get more knowledge, refine yourself. In fact, I like to add to what I know every day. I don't like to be where I was yesterday today. And so I encourage girls that nothing is impossible for them. They should keep their very hard. And
I think that I'm having a little bit of connection problems. Can you hear me, madam?
I can hear you.
Perfect, thank you. Uh, I just want to say to you that thank you so much again for being here and sharing your wisdom. We really appreciate your help to motivate girls to start studying a career in STEM. I think there are no questions, but again, thank you so much. Maybe you want to put your email or something so girls can search you in case they have any
I
question?
should put my,
Would you like to share a contact or an email or something so girls can contact you in case of any question?
okay, but you have my email.
Okay.
You have my email. You
Okay.
also have my WhatsApp. So you can share it, right?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome.
And well, I will continue with with closing the talk show. Here is a quote that we read at every talk show that says, "The word female, when inserted in front of something, is always with a note of surprise. Female COO, female pilot, female surgeon, as if the gender implies surprise. One day, there won't be female leaders, there will just be leaders." And now, this show is hosted by African Girls Empowerment Network, also known as H Network. Here are our focus areas. At every area, we have different initiatives or activities or events. This show is part of the H Network STEM Girls Initiative, that is the girls education focus area, the one that you can see here. Here. And here's our mission that is about inspire, connect, and answer the questions that girls have regarding careers or any studies in STEM. You can get involved in many different forms. You can become a STEM girl, you can become a mentor volunteer, you can become a partner friend, a donor, or even an STEM Girls ambassador. For more information, you can stay connected with us by our email, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, also Instagram, and another social ways, like for example, LinkedIn. I don't know if there is any question or comment. Again, thank you so much, madam. We really appreciate a lot your help. Thank you so much again, everyone. Have a wonderful day and see you next talk show.